Good afternoon, guys. It is October 31st, and I have some words to get out today. So, the first word, and thank you for being here on this channel, which is called Part of Something Real. And this is a channel that gives prophetic words, which are aimed at providing guidance and encouragement to people that are on a very specific journey, which includes long-term assignments from God, the one and only Yahweh, the Most High, the God of the Bible, to his chosen servants. Okay, these are just born-again believers in Jesus Christ and his redeeming act of atonement on the cross. But these Christians are, they're no better, they're no different. Well, they are a group of Christians that, like I said before, have specific assignments, and these assignments bring on a whole level of warfare, which includes life's attempts on their lives, large scale, whole scale rejection by colleagues, coworkers, bosses, friends, lovers, spouses, family members. So these are believers like every other Christian believer, but they deal with a whole unique set of barriers in life because the enemy, aka Satan and his minion spirits that work in the lives of human beings, oppose these Christians, oppose the work that they need to do in the world before they go on to glory. They have specific things that they need to do. And instead of people around them being happy for them or trying to help them or partner with them and get these things accomplished, or just at least have a kind word and an encouraging heart toward these people, instead they are filled with envy and jealousy, and a whole host of problems get bred out of that heart response. So these folks really become tests in and of themselves. Their whole presence is a test for the people around them, because how many of you know, okay, when you're around somebody that is very, very bright or brilliant or talented in some way that you are not, just straight up, you don't have intelligence in that area. Maybe you're brilliant in some other area, but you're in front of somebody who has a talent, a gift, or calling, or whatever, a mission in life, a vision that they're clear on, and it doesn't really align with your background. No, you're not gifted that way. Okay, well, how many of you know that you can have a couple of different responses to that? You can either go into jealousy, and just instant angst, or okay, or you can have a clean heart and you can just be like, wow, whoa, wow, I'm not really like that person. But maybe that person is supposed to do a certain number of things because they can handle those things. God has gifted them to do that. God's called them to do that. Whether they're a Christian or not. Because I believe that God equips and calls and people even before they know him, and they may never know him, but I believe he directs people like into medicine and science, and they may not even know God, but he knows what their mind is capable of and what they could achieve in life, and he directs them to better society, to better mankind, to bring gifts forward in the world that we need. So you can either have a heart posture, y'all, of just being like, wow, that's so cool, Hey, maybe I'll pray to God that, hey, God, maybe there's something really cool I could do in the world that would fit my gifts and intellect and talents that you've given me that I can feel really good about. Please don't be jealous of other people who maybe they do have millions and gazillions. So what? They can't take any of that with them. And a lot of times that money is just, it's trappings. Now they're worried about who's trying to cut in on their deal, who's trying to betray them, who's trying to steal. So a lot of times having a lot is a mixed blessing. So don't automatically just go into envy over people that have a lot of money or whatnot. Okay. Instead, just go to God and ask God for what you think you might want. Let God direct your life, and He will lead you into abundance and the things that He wants for your life. Okay? And stop trying to be God over your own life. Well, I want this. Well, I want that. That's great. Okay? Why don't you say, God, what do you want for my life? Okay? Acknowledging that you're not God, that there's only one God. And if you try to be God of your life and you try to be like, well, I want this and I want that, and I'm going to cut off anybody that gets in my way, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, that is a recipe for hell. You are doomed to go to hell because you are spitting in God's face. You are not acknowledging that there is only one God, and He is the one that holds every card, not just a few cards. Every card is held by God. So you might as well rub a couple brain cells together and live in accordance, live in alignment with the facts, and they are that God is all powerful and you're not. And when you go up against that truth, guess what? You're going to be the one that loses. Okay, so onward. So this is a word about those of you who have been hurt in this journey, and also those of you who are truth talkers. You just tell the truth and therefore tick off many people around you. Because if you speak truth to power, that is a bomb that just goes off. Because the people in power don't want to hear no truth. They don't want to hear no correction. So when you bring it, when you bring the receipts and you bring truth, people are going to go after your money, after your wealth, after your business, after your family, after everything. So if you're in that boat and you may not even know God, you may not have any kind of relationship with God. That's fine. Or maybe you have a little mustard seed of faith. Or maybe you are rocking it with God and you have a tight relationship with God, but you have really been wounded and hurt along the way. You have taken those bullets, right? You've taken them. You've taken those shots, okay? And because you don't compromise, okay? And the world loves compromise, and the world hates those who don't compromise. So if you're in that boat, this is for you. I saw this morning around 4, about 4 a.m. It was outside, and there was just a bunch of debris and mess, okay? And it was kind of, what it reminded me of was, it made me think, because I was kind of semi-conscious, of Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica right now. Just the debris and dirt and everywhere. Okay, it was kind of like that. Not quite at that scale, but anyway, so picture outside, picture a mess. Then a woman and a man, and they might be in their 30s. They were like kind of young, mature adults. Come, clear off all the debris, and what is underneath is just rock. It's just like a layer of gray rock. That might be prophetic. That might be speaking a couple of different messages actually right now. But, okay. Anyway, so then all of a sudden what appears on top of the rock bed is a stretcher, a very, substantial stretcher. And then I see a child, a pubescent boy is put on the stretcher. And then this man and woman pick up the stretcher and they head toward a building, and the building is on higher ground. It's at a higher elevation, topography wise, than where this layer of rock is. Okay, and that's all I saw. So prior to me seeing that, I was awake enough to be praying, to be consciously praying and asking questions of God. And I was asking about a particular person that's in the news right now. I'm not going to give out his name because he's pretty controversial, but he is nascent, I think that's the word, where he can see things coming from far out in the future. He can kind of figure out, well, like things are going to be heading in that direction. And many times he's spot on, and he's been around for 20 years, 25 years. Anyways, he just received a tremendous court judgment against him and his finances, businesses, everything. It's catastrophic. So, um, I was praying about this person. Like, I don't know much about the person other than what I just told you, you know. So I've sort of like casually observed this person. And that's when I saw this vision. And what I believe the vision means, I believe the Holy Spirit is saying that people that get hurt telling the truth about things, okay, and I'm not going to go on the record and say this person is 100% right 100% of the time, because I don't follow this person that closely, but I know that they've been uncannily correct about the path that certain things have taken in our world and in our society. So some of the time they've been correct. So if you've spoken the truth, you've spoken what is correct, and it's landed you in just a hot pot of water, God is saying that his angels are going to position you in a place where you can rest the stretcher and you can be brought to higher ground, because where you are right now is surrounded by enemies. You are in like a den of wolves right now. You are surrounded by threats and wolves and people that are not on your side, no matter whether they're in your family, your bed, wherever. They're not on your side. And so God is saying, oh, I see these people out here, standing up for what's right, standing up for the truth, and I'm going to move them. So I keep getting these words, you guys. This is, I think, the second one I've given about moving. So you may be moving geographically, picking up and going, and you want to go to higher ground. God has a higher ground for you, okay, where it's safe, where you're around people that are not identifying you as, public enemy number one, where you're not a marked individual, okay, you're not targeted. So he wants to get you to a place where you're going to have a lot more peace. So I just say follow wherever God is wanting to take you. Okay, hair issues every time I get on the videos lately. Alrighty. Okay, that's it for now. I have some scripture to this effect. It's going to back this up, and it's going to back up some other things. Okay, it's in Genesis, and it's all about Laban and Jacob, and how Jacob did some naughty things, you guys, and God rescued him, but there was a price to pay. There was a steep price that he paid, and so that really goes with a different word, a different vision, but we'll get into that in the next round when I come on the video next. So anyways, thank you guys so much for coming, and I'll see you on the next video, part of Something Real.